for 303. But I have to say as well, this is a really important game here, not just because these teams are trying to make it into the top 16 here this week, but because these teams are both kind of at focal points, if you will, in their progression as rosters. And already we're at a focal point with this agent selection. 2 Vipers coming in. Bemi, catch me up. How did we get here?
Well, Viper is actually that, ace up the sleeve to be able to play an icebox. The walls, the smokes, just the utility in general, the ultimate as well. It's just all super powerful and covers a lot of ground. Much like in the way sometimes you would pick Phoenix for that wall on Bind, because that mid push sort of on the site. There's sort of a lot of openings, if you haven't noticed, long sites that can get totally deleted by Viper. And just honestly, overall, just really good AoE control. And that's something that you want to do a lot of times. Some people think it used to be earlier that mobility was the big name of the game, and you have Jet and Omen and all this stuff, so that way they can take the high ground and some vantage points and stuff. But in reality, really the smokes and denying LOSs that can reach 3 miles down the map is the name of the game. Like, look at this. Look at the amount of ghosts that we see here. It's because it's so far down line of sight. That's why it's so valuable to have this Viper. This Viper will basically deny a lot of the values of the Ghost, but we'll see how it goes and pans out, which means buying Ghost means you may not have a lot of utility to work with, and or you're super squishy.
This will be an exciting pistol round to shape up how this matchup will be going. It is top 32, 303 Esports going up against Archons here. And already the action has started. Con Artist gets traded out, gets the kill on a Revo, but it's going to be Jabin picking up the double kill. And so Archons off to a great start here on the attacking side, now exploring their options through the map. Flipsy, though, evens the tide, gets the kill on a Duck.
Nice opening pick, and they're rotating out of there, Jabin. Trying to use that advantage to think they're committing to it. But Sora might catch them off guard, but not to be the case. Blackie will be able to find it. Now it's a 2v3 situation. 303 looking primed to hold on to this. Interesting that they chose to use this advantage with the 2-pick to go on the rotate, but they're going to have it nip in the bud unless Jabin can just clutch it out. But 18 health remaining, not entirely too sure. They're going to drop the turret just to have some information to go with it while they plant the spike, but they're going to get overwhelmed and rush immediately. And that is going to be it. 303 locks down the site. An interesting call for the rotation there from Archons, I would say, as Yori had 2 picks, but nonetheless, very valiant effort. It was a lot of that intel coming in from the Sova on mid for 303.
It was certainly a tough call for Archons. Getting themselves that early advantage, they actually felt a bit of pressure in that moment to do something with it. You can see, once they got those early picks, they immediately switched around and said, all right, maybe since we got kills over at B, they're rotating over to B, so we go to A, you know, kind of trying to throw that double bluff into the cards. But 303 Esports, ever the wise old geezers. I say old geezers, these guys are all probably younger than me, but certainly wise nonetheless. 303 Esports up to Archon's tricks, getting themselves that much needed first round of the board, and you can see 303 Esports reaping the rewards of that pistol round, picking up some SMGs and an Ares as well, as Con Artist props up onto this crate here, getting a great angle onto the approach from Archons, but it's Revo trading out with AJ and getting the kill, starting out the attackers once more with the opening kill here in the second round.
And again, I want to bring up this thing where the rotations happen. It's sort of hard to do again with the line of sights. That's sort of going to be a huge talking point in the narrative of this map, is how well can enemies catch each other off. Because again, when you have so much exposure in this map and you have a sentinel like Sova on your side, it's tough to just cause surprises. They certainly have the pistols to work with to try to make it expensive as possible. Again, the Force Spy should be able to bring it home, but as we already know, First Blood went over to the Archons here, D.
So now Archons with the spike plant and with firm control of the A site, but 303 Esports with the firepower advantage. Can they put these guns to work? Monsi up on Raptors, trying to find a peek, but it's Brisk for Archons, who gets the opening kill of this push. Blackie, though, sneaking the defuse. Oh, gets it to halfway. Blackie has to let off, though, and now just Monsi to do all kinds of work as the lockdown goes down. for the attacking side. Monty just has to get the heck on out of there. Escapes by the narrowest of margins as the clock ticks down. Monty pushes forward, finds the third kill of the rain. Is there time? Goes for the defuse, it's to halfway, but Revo mops up the floor. The thrifty, the eco win for Archons ties us up at 1 round apiece, and Revo, ever the sneaky secret agent, ducks away from the implosion of the spike.
Gotta give it up to J-Ben though, able to get the lockdown that fast.
Yes.
Just gonna, I'm excited to see the rest of this map when you have very aggressive killjoys like that. But either way, very big round to win there for the Archons. Interesting. I mean, again, you gotta go in with a plan with these maps types of stuff, and they just really valued the buy back into that. They could have eaten so many rounds because of that, and 303 would have been just sort of starting to snowball like we spoke about earlier. Now, 303, they're back on it again. You can kind of hope you can see if they can find first blood, but they're already checking so many corners. Archon should be able to lock it down. So 303, you're going to be able to come into a buy round in the following go, but it should be, I think the big talking point here is also those ultimates. I mean, we didn't see the lockdown happen, and I think we're 1 skill point away for 303, so they should be ready and rearing to go. So that AoE control may fall into the ball's court of 303.
Yeah, absolutely. 303 Esports, pretty much all eyes ahead to this 4th round upcoming as Archons put the bow on a nice little flawless execution of 303's save round there. Archons now in the driver's seat, but 303 Esports will be bringing the big guns into this 4th round. 303 Esports will need this round to kind of keep themselves in the early conversation of this match, because I have to say, Archons playing with some swagger here on the attacking side, not playing afraid whatsoever, no apprehension from the attacking side, and that plays into exactly what you touched on earlier, Bemi, was that if Archons are picking this map, they've got a game plan, and so far, the game plan executed near perfectly for Archons. Let's see if they can keep that momentum rolling. AJ looking to put a wrench in their plans, pushing on forward, has backup as well. So 303 Esports with a very aggressive defense to start off this 4th round.
Well, they have the Viper to do that, and that's one of the benefits of it. Denying that line of sight, but AJ already gets Brisk, which is very big, and that's a nice pick. Though it's still good to see that the team is mainly sticking together in Archons. It's very important that you stick together as a group, just because, again, so much exposure. You want to make sure you're able to afford those trades and get that information. Duck with a nice pick already on Munsky, but I don't think you're aware of Footsie being there. Oh, are they? The smokes come out. They will deny as much information as possible. They'll just throw in some utilities, see what they can. But good trigger discipline and patience just holding that corner, and they will be able to secure the A side in a very unorthodox way.
Now Archons once again with A site control with the spike down as well. 303 Esports trying to mount a response. It will be Blackie getting the 1-for-1 kill, but that's erased. Revo resurrecting Brisk, making this a 4v3, favoring the attackers, and make it a 4v2 as Sora takes down the rival Reyna of AJ. 303 Esports trying to find some magic in the hat to take this site, but Sora says magic isn't real. Picks up the triple kill, shuts down 303 Esports, and what was potentially 303's best yet chance to tie this match up has come and gone with barely a whimper from the defenders.
Great distraction there from Duck, and also post-plan situation there as well. Even though the map was updated fairly recently, the post-plan situation of being able to set up that nest on the attacker side of A is so strong. It's so tough to challenge that high ground position because you can't flank it because it's already got a cover in the back. You just have to face it head on, and if you're not able to trade it, you're just going to run into trouble. So now 303, they're going to try to make something with these. Oh, no, never mind. That's Archons that have the jet. But either way, talking point again is that 303, the aggressive push, while was welcomed because they pushed in as a group, does make it a little bit easier for Archons to rotate. And one of the things that Archons likes to do, it seems, is rotate. So I think sort of anchoring positions will be an ideal strat moving forward to tie up the score, because that would basically catch Archons off guard. We saw them get first blood earlier into one of the rounds. Moving on, that was one of the things that allowed 303 to win that. So potentially 303 needs to play a little more passively moving forward.
Yeah, 303 Esports maybe trying to be a little too fancy with it. They're still moving around the map quite fluidly. Blackie loses out to Sora, so these rotations that Bemi has touched on not paying off whatsoever here for 303 Esports now. Of course, tempering expectations, this was an eco round, still is an eco round for 303 Esports, but we take a look on up at the top of the scoreboard here as Con Artist does find the kill onto Jabin, and AJ finding some fair damage as well. Oh, so close to finding the kill there, but it does look like Archons will want to wrap this up. So we take a look at the top of the screen here. 303 Esports brought 2 ultimates into this round. They brought 2 ultimates into the previous round as well, being the lockdown, and oh my goodness, AJ popping the head off of Revo. This is actually now a 1v1, and Duck, only 8 HP remaining, loses out.
Whoa.
AJ, goodness gracious, no! AJ had no business clutching this out, but AJ says, I don't heckin' care. Picks up the triple kill, picks up the clutch, and in a round I had dismissed 303 Esports, they seize for themselves. They pick up 5, count them, 5 ultimates on the board, and now 303 Esports move into the driver's seat.
The duelists are so poggers on 303. I love it. Connor is playing mid so well with those angles and the frenzy, able to find at least one rifle and do some serious damage. And now potentially 303 should be able to tie this up. Look at that full stack of ultimates ready at their arsenal. They should be able to find an opening easily, get first blood easily here, D.
Absolutely. Now the pressure really on 303 Esports, as they will feel disappointed should they not secure this round. Having so much in the tank for it. AJ pops the Empress now to start dealing out the damage. And there goes the turret, there goes the slow field, and Jabin puts AJ down. That's 1 ultimate off the board, 1 team member off the board here for 303 Esports. And you can see Con Artist already brought down rather low, no armor available. And now the lockdown will start securing that real estate for 303 Esports. So crisis averted for now. Still remains a 4v5 here for 303 Esports, and no, that's actually not great as Jabin does get detained, but 303 Esports, as I've said before, they are very wise, and they will not go chasing that goose chase.
303 wise too. They've been anchoring sites. They're not rotating or being aggressive as like I saw earlier. So this is very smart for them. Getting some tags here and there. 30 seconds remaining. They need to commit to this A site now. And Connor just, well, it looks like they're ready to play for some picks.
Con Artist now on the hunt as the spike goes down. The Hunter's Fury, though, from Flipsy takes down Revo. Con Artist there to back it up. 2 quick kills for the 303 Esports. Quickly flips the script of this round. 303 Esports now in control here, but Sora still has something to say. Puts down Flipsy. Sora with that Empress running as well. Looks for the second kill, picks it up, takes down Con Artist, able to dismiss as way with that heal. So Sora now fully ready to go, but Monty now has been able to push out onto site, takes down Duck, takes down Brisk. Monty on the double kill, looking for the triple, is denied. Sora looking for the quadra. This is perfect play from Sora. The denial, there is nothing in it for 303 Esports. Sora with the quadra kill. Sora with the clutch. Keyblade activated.
Oh my gosh, I was really hoping you didn't go there. But
I couldn't help myself. You'll have to forgive me.
Say that Sora doesn't believe in magic, and then go with Kingdom Hearts. That is full of magic. They're trained by wizards, for goodness sakes, literal wizards.
You've got me there. You've got me there. I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board. I gotta pull. I gotta go back to the books. There's more studying to be done for me, because Sora certainly believes in magic. Sora is a wielder of magic thus far in this first half. A quadra kill, picking up the clutch for Archons, now re-extending their lead 4-2, and it just keeps on worsening here for 303 Esports as Revo gets the action started, takes down Blackie.
Strong opening, and again, I'm guessing, you know, Sora's now the raid boss they gotta be careful of, but Monsi making the contention as well as they managed to take down the raid boss themselves, and now 303 in a prime position to at least take some rifles. If they haven't been winning, they've certainly been at least trying to make it economically expensive from time to time on the side of Archons. Duck still trying to stabilize the bleeding, but again, doing some serious damage here, 303.
Absolutely, 303 at least dealing some economic damage, but now dealing some
Oh,
real
that's
damage here. AJ squeezes in on Jabin, and that delivers the kill to Con Artist, now in a 1v1, but only 5 HP for Con Artist to try and work with here. Duck, spike in hand, 90 HP and 29 armor, so Con Artist is going to have to land some very secure headshots to try and take down that Duck. Now Duck on the hunt, but running out of time here. Could this be a clutch in the cards for 303 Esports and Con Artist?
Well, they're vibing in tube right now, and they will be able to get the plant here, Duck. But either way, I think the big question is which direction will they be coming from, and which direction will Duck be looking at? It is a big question. So it comes down to who's just looking in the right direction. Again, it's that very conflicting map of sights for Icebox, and no footsteps have been made. So Con Artist is not aware. They're just going to go for the defuse here, and I think they should be able to get caught out here quickly enough by Duck. Oh, they see the gun barrel. Potentially might be able to clutch this out. They go for the peak, and if it probably had more health, they could have probably clutched it out right then and there. But 303, nicely done. Makes it expensive for Archons, and they will be able to buy into this next round.
Absolutely. Despite not being able to have the clutch stick, that is still a successful round for 303 Esports, forcing practically all of Archons to rebuy their guns, rebuy their equipment, and now 303 Esports with a defense rather, that stands in stature to what Archons has been putting together. But 303 Esports, they have to be wary going into this 8th round as we hear the Blade Storm proc for Archons. There are 3 more ultimates in tow for Archons here. As the action gets started, Duck takes the head off a Con Artist. That's 1 down for 303 Esports. Duck on the hunt for more.
They will be vibing right now as the sort of anchor in the backside 303, and just sort of again really like this from them. They don't rotate as frequently as they were earlier, so this is great holding on sites. They do have the Sova just peeking mid from time to time, see if they get information of those rotates, but the timing is of such that they will not be ready for this full area of A. And now here comes Chris dropping their ult with the returning kind, get absolutely shattered, but they're not ready for the push. Maybe they are. AJ finds one, falls back, dismissed, won't help them out though. Now it's a 2v3 for the side of Archons. They should be able to get the plant, especially with this lockdown thanks to Killjoy. But is it going to be enough? They should be able to push through rafters. They should have a lot of things going for them. They get the res on Duck, but reminder, you don't get the armor back either, so it's very low health for them technically. You just got to hold on to it, and they're only pushing through screens, so this should be a good hold to just cover up. It looks like Archons are good to win another round. Molly's come out from Blackie, gets shut down, nowhere to turn, and there we go. 3 people survive on Archons, and another round on the board. 1 round away from securing the half.
Wow, tough times indeed here for 303 Esports. They've shown glimpses of brilliance, and they've taken Archons to the brink in some of these rounds, but Archons have had that little bit extra in the tank and have been able to deliver now 3 rounds in a row for the 2nd time here in this match. Archons with a stellar attacking side to start off this first half here in top 32, and this is a best of 1. Remind you, there is no second chances for moving on here. Lose and go home. So this is very difficult indeed. These teams fighting for their very tournament lives. 303 Esports, you can see the economic conversation is not a happy one to have. It's a very cobbled together by the biggest firepower coming from the Guardian in the hands of AJ. But that being said, not to say the Guardian hasn't been put to good use here before in the Valorant Sunday Showdown. It's just maybe a little bit harder to convert those shots into kills.
Well, a lot of those maps may have been Ascent or something along the lines of that, where you're trying to challenge options of the like. But however, in Icebox, it's a different story here, D. You can try to get away with a lot. And it's also on the defense, too, here, as, you know, you have Snowman to sort of just watch the B side. That being said, they haven't really pushed B at all. A has been sort of been their bread and butter for the majority of this half here on Archon. Sure, they'll peek down green, try to get a pick or two, and see what they can find
Ooh.
here, like they do so with Blackie. But other than that, they just sort of rotate on back and get ready for it. And I think maybe 303 needs to start stacking up a little heavier over onto A.
Yeah, and one thing that I feel I'm just now realizing is the difference in agent composition. It only took me 9 rounds to really pick up on it, but here we are. 303 Esports opting for that Sova rather than the Jet that Archons has opted for certainly represents Archons bringing more aggression to the table here on Icebox on their map pick. And while 303 Esports were the ones who chose defense, they wanted to start out on this side. This does seem to be an attacking tuned composition here for Archons, and it's paying off in spades. Up 6-2 now here in these first 8 rounds. And now as we tick down to the later stages of the ninth, Archons have been handed free control over over B site. Oh, but Revo, it's not as free as you may have thought. Revo burned down at the boots, has to pop the heal to survive, and Archons in this 5v4 situation with the spike planted on B site.
Well, they get to walk away and they self-heal, so hey, you know, overlook the damage. You know, either way, it's again against pistols like from 303, so those should be good. Secure this half. You know, do what they can to try to peek down Snowman, but that's going to be roughly about it. 303, it's a 7-5 half would be really nice. Con, good for one, though there's not really enough time for the defuse, so just try to take away as much guns as you can, but only one is going to be found. And an Archon, again, just going to keep sitting on a very pretty economy. Even though they've been making it expensive a couple of times here and there, we cannot deny the fact that there's so many credits for Archon.
Yeah, absolutely. 303 Esports have done their absolute darndest to wrestle that money, wrestle those guns out of the hands of Archons, but Archons have kept a firm grip on the economy here for this matchup, and it shows. Archons are more than set, I would say, for the rest of this half economically. Archons really could drop the next 3 rounds and still, you know, have been bull buying every single time. So 303 Esports, they're gonna have to get it done on good graces alone. They won't be able to find any firepower advantages to carry them through. And already it's showing Archons getting the opening kill once more, pushing forward. Flipsy there to make a stand. Flipsy picks up the double kill, knocks down the spike carrier. Archons dealing damage. Is it enough to secure the round? 303 staying alive, pick up 3 kills of their own, and now a 2v2 as the clock ticks down. 2 ultimates on the side of 303 Esports, no ultimates on the side of Archons.
Certainly an interesting back and forth, just trying to shake up the play styles, and now it's unfolded this interesting narrative of mid and just sort of getting caught off guard. Jabin will win their duel, but now it comes down to Killjoy versus Killjoy, and I don't know. Neither utility is going to really help out here. Maybe the turret should buy them a little bit of time, but they're just sort of vibing. They only have 5 bullets. I don't know if they're aware of this. They're only very tagged down to very little health. It's 30 seconds remaining. They got to commit to this. Jabin might jump up, but never mind. They think it better, and they'll just take on the duel head-on and be rewarded for it. Another round for Archons, a big clutch from Jabin, and honestly, it does really feel like it is their map territory.
Absolutely. This very much looks like an Archons pick working to Archons' favor. And I have to say, just you know, about today in general, if you had to ask me to describe today, week number 45 of the Valorant Sunday Showdown, if you asked me to describe it in just one word, that word is Killjoy. The Killjoys have been leading the charge here in every single game that we've seen. Group stage, 3 games of Ascent, 3 games of Killjoys dominating the landscape. And now, Icebox, it is simply no different. The Killjoys are driving the narrative. So, Archons, can they deal with, or continue to deal with, rather, Monsi there on the Killjoy with that lockdown available? Can Monsi establish a bit more control here for 303 Esports, or does Archon continue to walk away with this half? We find out now as Archon spill out onto B site.
They're trying to take the duel down long, but there it is. That's the wall. that needed to be seen from Archon, and Blackie going down does not help out either. They're ready. They're just denying so much line of sight. Con Artist is going to try to see what they can do to play down mid, but apparently they're going to get read like a book as they are just going to be denied with this acid pool. And now there's just sort of set up on Kitchen. I don't think we're going to be ready for this, and it's just going to be a full round. I say it, we're going to see a double digits coming for the end of the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Archons, they have not slowed down one single bit here in this first half already, putting together 5 rounds in a row, and it would have been 9 rounds in a row had 303 Esports not been able to secure that 5th round for themselves. And so, Archons, I said it before, they are very much in the driver's seat, driving us on into the second half. Archons, it would be frankly surprising if they didn't walk away from this half with double digits, but 303 Esports, 4 ultimates on the table, and they are some big ultimates indeed. Empress, Showstopper, Lockdown, and Hunter's Fury all at the ready for 303 Esports. We want to see that wombo combo of ultimates come through for 303 Esports, and this has to be the round for it. Blackie with the operator forced away from the angle.
Does not feel good. It's 3 people stacked like a can of sardines down green, and you can't get one shot, unfortunately. Not trying to call out anybody, but it does not feel good, and I feel your pain. I can't even land some shots with just something that sprays down with an Odin, for goodness sakes. But either way, at least it's only a minute left, and you can redeem yourself. Plenty of time to do so. 3-3. Time is working on your side for the meantime until Archons secure this plant and get into a post-plant situation, which once again, like clockwork, they will move on over to A, play for picks at B, and now we're moving into the motions of A site.
Now the pressure starts to build on Con Artist here. Con Artist has to come up big, holding down the site, but loses out to Sora.
Oh.
That's the Empress, the caster curse as well. Con Artist, I'm so sorry. My heart is broken for you, but Archons now with the control of the site. AJ takes down Revo. Much needed progress here for the defenders. Sora, though, popping off with the dismiss, gets that first kill, but Blackie snipes him down now in a 3v3, and AJ has the Empress fully going. But Brisk on the backside takes down the rival Viper, and now AJ has to do a bit of darting around to try and find where the remaining attackers are. The remaining attackers hiding away in the shadows, biding their time, baiting out the clock. AJ doing all the work they can. Fakes the defuse, but there is the pool of poison that AJ had to get on out of. Jabin takes down Flipsy. Jabin takes down AJ. Archons take down 10 rounds in the first half.
Oh my goodness, what a great showing from Archons. 303 just, again, unfortunately just got traded a lot of times and had no way of following up with that. It wasn't necessarily that they were taking overly aggressive peaks, but they were just not set up in a way that allowed them to, majority of the time, get the ability to trade off, and that's something that you really need to do, because if you're able to trade off on the defense, it's much harder for the attack to secure the site. So a lot of the time that player advantage was going in for favor of Archons. So we'll see how it goes into the next half. The past is the past, the present is present. 303 got a mountain to climb, but certainly doable. We'll see how it goes with the long-range pistols of both Sheriffs and Ghosts on each side.
Yeah, Duck going for the Sheriff all in on this pistol round and is rewarded.
Hey.
Takes the head off a Con Artist. I absolutely love this Sheriff play here from Archons. This is style. This is swagger coming out in the pistol round from the defenders. Looking for the shot. Sora guns down Blackie. Sora on the hunt for more. Duck picks up the double kill, but still, 303 Esports find themselves in a 2v2. They weather the storm that was put in front of them by Duck and Sora, and now they have some options and they have a chunk of time as well to work with on the clock. Spike in hand there for Flipsy and Monsi for the side of 303 Esports, but this is still not as easy as it may seem. Archons, the remaining 2 members, the Viper and the Killjoy, a lot of control options available, and there you see the wall spark up, and Brisk finds a little bit of damage on a Flipsy, backs away. Here come the trades. Brisk trying to land the shots, takes a fair bit of damage, backs away for now. So the denial not paying off as much as Brisk may have wanted to, but Jabin now in tow. Here come the 2 defenders looking to retake B site.
betraying themselves, coming through tube. They might have been revealed there. They're certainly aware of them. Certainly, though, they are tagged up both sides pretty even for help, but that post plant situation should be ideal. Jabin able to just lock it down and trade out with their teammates, and Archon winning the pistol means that I quite frankly feel like that might have been the final nail in the coffin for this map.
It very well could have been, but I do want to say, in the Valorant Sunday Showdown, this is a land of magic. I said, you know, maybe we don't believe in magic, but it is. It is a magical land, and I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. This is a land ripe with comebacks, ripe with you know, magic, if you will, to keep harping on a word. This has been done before, and I'm sure it will be done again. 303 Esports brought to the absolute brink, but we know how good this team can be. We know how good these players can be, and now it all comes down to this. Spectres and Bulldog in tow for 303 Esports, looking to make an impact, but it's done. Shooting down Monsi. Archons furthering the damage.
Oh my gosh, well, there's certainly room for miracles as this could possibly happen, but they need to start coming back in a strong way, and Duck already getting a nice right click, gets a third on the board, almost working on the fourth, but unfortunately just not able to pull it down. They're very greedy, understandably so, as it's the last player remaining, but this force buy, it's not cutting out for 303. They're ready to trade here. They're getting tagged up by the Marshal, and there's really nothing else you can do. AJ can't even pull away because the spike's in an awkward position, and that's going to be match point for Archons.
Absolutely. Archons really hasn't ever been in doubt is their dominance. They have had full control of the map since round one, and it never slipped away from them. And as we said, when this matchup started, this is Archon's map pick, and you don't pick a map like this unless you are ready for it. Archons clearly came in with a game plan, came in with a strategy, and it has been flawlessly executed, much to the dismay of 303 Esports. They've put up a valiant fight, and they've shown in moments how strong they can be individually, but the team package from Archon proving to be too much to deal with. Can 303 Esports start turning the tide? So far, the kills go 2 for 1, favoring the attackers.
Okay, it's a little bit of momentum, but are they able to steal the guns, I wonder? I don't think so.
Yeah.
They're in interesting positions, and they're still going to be working with a deficit in somewhat firepower. Archons do have the player disadvantage, so that's at least something going in the way of 303. There's the Empress also online if they really feel like the pressure's getting to them. They already know there's one in mid. A is going to be just open and right for the picking of 303.
Here comes the setup from 303 Esports. Spike is down on A site. They're rather clumped up, and they'll slip away back towards their spawn. Now here comes the retake. 3 members from Archons armed with SMGs in hand. Jabin pushing up. Oh my goodness, Jabin on the peak. Guns down AJ and still has so much health remaining. Jabin picks up the double kill so fast on the draw. Jabin looking to do the solo hero work. Loses out to Monzi, and now in a 2v2. Brisk picks up the first, now a 1v1 Revo. That is the game. Archons win 13-2 on Icebox over 303 Esports. A stellar, standout, statement performance from Archons.
Wow, Archons apparently have certainly a lot of tricks up their sleeves, as we can see. They had a very convincing win in this, and hopefully it's not just an Icebox, but other standard maps in VCS as well. As this was certainly unorthodox, but I really gotta say, it came to those playstyles, the Killjoys. AoE is such a big thing in VCS, I would say specifically, because in that BO1, you're going for those 50-50 maps more. Icebox not chosen as much, but we see a lot of Ascent. And where's Killjoy really good in? Ascent. So we do see that a lot, and it's still the narrative here. Also on top of that, the trades. The trades were so strong coming in from the Archons. But, I mean, Sora, a lot of time, just took them out altogether. You saw the magic right there, D.
Absolutely. Sora was a force to be reckoned with. 19, 9-2, well over a 2.0 KD ratio coming in from Sora on the Reyna on Icebox. Combat score 332. A massive stat line here for Sora. A big boon of confidence for Archons to build upon as they move into the later stages of this bracket. It is a top 16 appearance for Archons yet again. They were semifinalists here last week, and they will be having their eyes on the grand prize, if you will, for sure. For 303 Esports, it's certainly back to the drawing board. This is a team we keep our eyes closely on because we certainly feel there is strong potential. There is a great deal of talent, and if it is just honed in the right way, there are certainly bright days ahead for the likes of 303 Esports. But today, it's back home. It's back to the drawing board. Archons taking the dub in top 32, and now we set our sights onto top 16. We are going to take just a short few-minute break, and we'll be right back with top 16 here in week number 45 of the Valorant Sunday Showdown. Stick around. You definitely don't want to miss it.